Garry Kasparov was and is one of the most famous chess players on earth. Between 1985 and 2000, the Russian was world champion in chess. He topped the world rankings in chess even until 2005. Bild met the 2013 exiled Putin critic in his summer residence near the Croatian city of Split. Until today, chess is a matter of heart to the 56-year-old.
I think it's just something that you can get. You can not get it away from you. So it's so deep down in my body, in my fingers, in my brain. So it helps me just to feel younger and also to play the game. If I lose, I lose. I still can win some very nice games. I play top players in exhibition games. I will play one in 10 days' time against Caruana in St. Louis. But it's for fun. And also it helps to promote the game. I feel good, everybody feels good, so why not doing that? Again, it's a nice distraction.
Kasparov connects a long common history to Croatia. After he had to flee Russia in 2013, Croatia's then Prime Minister Milanovic provided him a Croatian passport. But it's not only political reasons for which Kasparov fell in love with the Adriatic city of Split.
I visited Croatia in, I think it was early '93, just to offer my support, and I played I remember an exhibition in Zagreb with a lot of its spectators, and everybody who played was wearing the military uniform because the war was still on. And since 1993, I chose Croatia as my summer destination. So for 26 years, so I come to Croatia. And one of the reasons is that, don't forget, I was born and raised in Baku. It's about the same climate. So since I had to leave Baku after Armenian pogroms in '99, collapse of the Soviet Union, and so I was always looking for a place. I wanted a place where you can, swim in the sea and eat grapes. So it was plenty of sun. Our travel is now very much depends on school calendar. Our daughter, she's turning 13 in October, so she's just moved to the 7th grade in New York. So that's why we cannot move if she goes to school. So that's why it's either spring break or summer break. Summer we're always here. I need sun. So this New York is not a place that reminds me of upbringings. So swimming. Just having fun, and it's also important. We are somehow secluded from the troubles of the outside world. It's a family vacation. Also, another important one. My mother, she still lives in Moscow. She's 82, and she cannot travel to America. It's too far, and for her it's so painful because she spent her entire life since my father died in 1971. Just for me, for her son. And Croatia is one of the places where we meet. So she travels here with some of my relatives. She just left yesterday, for instance. So she was here for 20 days. Again, that's for her is just also an opportunity to sit with her only son.
Garry Kasparov was one of the most active opponents during Putin's first 10 years in power. Between 2005 and 2007, he organized peaceful protests against Putin's regime and was arrested multiple times. But no one in the West wanted to see how Russia turned into a militarized rogue regime, he says. For Kasparov, Vladimir Putin is not just a chief of state turned mafia boss, but after almost 20 years in power, also a dictator.
Dictator is someone who stays in power by twisting the laws in his favor and eliminating political opposition. You look at Putin's history. Every imaginable quality, if you call it quality, of a dictator is there. Even naked aggression against neighboring countries. So Putin inherited Russia from Yeltsin, which was a very fragile democracy. So our foundation was very feeble, but we had elections. The Russian parliament at the end of the 90s even tried to impeach Yeltsin. So there were elements of political freedom that could actually grow into the mature democracy. So what he did, he eliminated free TV. So that's in the first 3 years. He just destroyed any free media on TV side, and then gradually destroyed every free media just across the spectrum. So we have no free media in Russia. It's all controlled by Kremlin. You cannot register a political party unless Kremlin wants you to, and you are playing Kremlin's puppet. Every peaceful protest is being met by the riot police, and people are thrown in jail. I spent 5 or 10 days in jail, now 5 to 10 years in jail. And he attacked other countries. He interfered in the political affairs of every country, including Germany, France, of course, United States, Brexit. So his cronies control state treasury. So the richest people in Russia, all Putin's buddies from St. Petersburg. Now, what does not qualify for dictatorship? Putin is playing the global game by trying to destabilize everything and using energy and the refugees and the wars. Did Europe ever consider having a plan, strategic plan, how to stop Russian dictator from interfering in European affairs? No. From Putin's perspective, as for every dictator, anything that helps him to strengthen his grip on power is good. He doesn't killing people, he has no allergy for blood, attacking other countries, violating international treaties. By the way, why should he bother? This dictator never asked why, he asked why not. So far, he did everything that, that has violated the established norms in Europe since 1945. Did he pay a price? No. We have to build, defense against poisonous influence. Because it's not that, Europe succeeded in exporting democracy to Russia. It's Putin succeeded in exporting corruption to Europe.
Kasparov regards the current sanctions in place against Russia a bad joke. Especially Germany proved with its ever-new business deals with Russia that it does not take the sanctions regime seriously, he claims.
Who cares about sanctions? Sanctions are just, it's unpleasant for Putin. But Germany has doubled the amount of Russian gas it's buying since Crimea annexation. Doubled, maybe if not more. It's not just, by the way, it's not just Putin who's holding, his grip on power in Russia. Look at Venezuela. Maduro is still there. Why? Because Putin is there. Assad is still there. So they learned from Putin that if you push hard enough, if you pay no attention to people, if you kill enough opponents, you can stay in power. So look, sanctions are just it's a mere formality because it's while it hurts, but at the end of the day, it's about it doesn't prevent Russian business. If the free world wants to hurt Putin, and most important, send a signal to Putin's oligarchs and other cronies and his henchmen that it's too costly to stay with Putin, it could be done. So far, it moves in the opposite direction. Now they are talking about expanding business relations, as my beloved foreign minister Heiko Maas now discussed in Moscow just recently.
Garry Kasparov's take on the almost weekly protests in Moscow and other cities in Russia is clear. For him, the demonstrators are heroes. But according to him, also this is barely understood in the free world.
I find it difficult to explain to people who are born and raised in the free world, whether it's Germany, France, United Kingdom, United States, that in countries like Russia, taking to the streets and protesting against the government, it's a huge risk. Because there's some sort of, it's like a mental reflection. No. You can go, of course, to the streets. You can say whatever you want about the government. Not in Russia, not, of course, in China, not in many parts of the world. So, and Russia is very painful to me because, look, I live in exile. Not because it was my first choice, but because with my views, I wouldn't last long there. Either I would be under arrest or even worse, like my friend and ally, Boris Nemtsov, who was shot more than 4 years ago. So it's when people are in the streets and you see 50, 60,000 people, so protesting against the fake elections, protesting against repressions, it's a huge risk because it's not like in Berlin or in Paris where police protects you against maybe some other extremist radicals. It's a police that against you. But what emboldens Putin? Zero reaction from the free world. So that's why I was so angry with the German foreign minister, who, praised Russia's comeback to European Parliament organization, to PAC, and said absolutely nothing about the first result of that. That is just the thousands of Russians. 2,000 people have been detained during these 2 day demonstrations. 2,000 people. It's just an insane number. And dozens of them are in prison, and some of them are facing criminal charges that could end up with 10 to 15 years behind bars.
Since 2013, Garry Kasparov lives in New York. He loves the freedoms and democracy in the United States of America. For this very reason, he is not just a critic of Vladimir Putin, but also of US President Donald Trump. Kasparov believes Trump envies Putin for his autocratic possibilities.
Early 2016, so I've been, even before Trump was elected, before he was nominated as the Republican candidate for presidency, I saw evil there. And I saw the danger that Trump could bring to American politics by normalizing something that was unacceptable. It's not happening first time. America also had some dark periods. This is the times of McCarthy. So you had a lot of demagogues that that use the same language, but never from the Oval Office. And of course, it has terrible effect around the world because Trump attacks American allies and never criticizes Putin, never criticizes Xi Jinping. He doesn't criticize dictators because I believe he envies them. He's jealous. I think that when Trump says, I want to buy Greenland, in his mind he says, if I were Putin, I could invade Greenland. It could take, 10 minutes for me just to take over. But now I have to negotiate with 10 more. So this is this tiny country. But again, it's bad. But I also had no doubt that Russian interference played a key role in electing Trump.
While Kasparov lives outside Russia, he is very much aware that Putin's long arm can reach him everywhere. Just like it did last year when Sergei Skripal was poisoned by Russian agents in Salisbury. However, he says, he won't be silenced by any threats.
Am I afraid? Yeah, I'm concerned. Would it help to be paranoid about it? So what can I do about it? I cannot stop saying what I've been saying for a long time. It's a matter of honor, a matter of principle. So I grew up with a motto of Soviet dissidents: do what you must, and so be it. Yes, I have my family, and my family is also concerned. But the only thing we can do is just to sort of minimize the risk by going to the places where we are real danger. Croatia, I wouldn't say so. People always ask me why not London, but New York. After Skripal case, they never asked. Yes, they could operate in New York as well, but it's more difficult. We understand that the ability of Putin's cronies to operate in America is sort of less effective than in the United Kingdom. I have to limit sort of my world travel by eliminating countries where I believe that Russian intelligence operates freely. So, that's one of the reasons I'm so upset that I couldn't take invitations from Turkey. We had almost 10 invitations over the last 18 months from good companies, like just big international companies like IBM Turkey, Vodafone Turkey. But this is a country where you have another dictator, and when you have Russian intelligence operating as a backyard. And there's several other countries that I don't want to go to because I believe that it could increase the risk.
Kasparov didn't enter his home country for 6 years now. He knows Putin would imprison him, if not worse. But he never stopped thinking of the day of coming home to Russia.
Look, today, for me, trip to Russia is a one-way ticket. I always buy a round trip. So I cannot imagine returning to Russia as long as Putin dictatorship continues. But I'm an optimist. Uncured optimist by nature. I believe that Putin will not last forever, and it could be even sooner than many people expect. And when Russia is free, and when Russia needs people like me to help it come back, I'll be available. So it's not that I'm going to be back in Russia running for political office, but I think Russia will need my help and help of many of us who live in exile to rejoin the nation of civilized nations. And sooner the free world recognizes that with Putin it's not going to happen and helps us to build free Russia, better for all of us.